Welcome to this tutorial. So I've done a sales visualization and comparison recently with maps and the likes, but I couldn't do a very good step-by-step, so I just showed you how it works so you could reproduce it, and because it was all a little bit complex. But this one is much simpler. There's no maps and donuts and stuff like that require me to do a lot of formula and calculations. So this one I will be doing a step-by-step. Now the only thing I won't be doing step-by-step is the data, which is what you see here, assuming that you have something along those lines. If you really want me to give you this, just put it in comments and I will give it to you. But this is very straightforward. It's like, segment breakdown. You have a year, so 2023 and 2024. And then you have all the segments here. So I'm reusing the US states, but it could be anything as a segment. It could be demographics, it could be age brackets, it could be absolutely anything, because we are not bound by the limits of the map. Here it is. I want to put this on a different tab because in my mind, that's something that you could give to a client or to anyone. So you can say, okay, you input your data here, and after you can go and see the result. So this is why I want to separate that, and I do it this way. That looks a little bit nicer than just all plain black and white. But what I'll be doing is I'll be creating other tabs where I'll be doing the calculation. So this tab, let's call it Data tab. And the other one, I want to call it Calculations. And as you can see, I'll be starting from scratch to this one. So what I want to do is I want to reproduce this. So what I want to do is have the segments at the top. So this is the segments. Because this way they will present nicely in a slicer. So here I will put the year that is on this side. And then under this, I want to put the segments. And the segment here, the segments here. Now you start to think, is he going to do this all one by one? No, because now I can count to 10, because by the way, this is 10 segments allowed on this one, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have other states at the bottom, which is perfect. Now I could do a nasty drag that for the 12 months. But first I want to put the month here, and by the way it starts January, but it could start at any month. So did I have January here, and here I can drag that all the way to December. And if I want to do this now, I know where to stop. Okay, so the data is the way it looks at the moment. I didn't want to put any dollars because this way you can use it in any currency that you like. I might put dollars on the final version, but we'll see. So this is it. And now what I want to do is I want to put the other segment here, the different year. So I'll go here and I'll just go to the bottom one. And I will go here and I will take this and I'll do more or less the same thing as before. So here I'm just going to take the first state and the first date. So I don't like to use tables and pivot tables much because there's always a point in time where I want to do something and the pivot table won't let me do it. So that's a reason why I don't want to use pivot tables and tables sometime. And this I will not be using it as a table. I will just be using it as an array. So I will not convert that to a table. But I will have to use pivot table, and I'll show you why later on. So this is my ugly table. We are behind the curtains here, so the users don't see this, so we don't have to make it look too good, but I'm just still going to show a little bit of this. Now, this is where we going to start to do some calculations, some formulas. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a pivot table because I want to be able to, just if I give you a bit of a, how do they call that, wireframe here. This is where I want to put the year that we will be showing the first year decision, if you want, the first year for comparison. And this is where we want to put the segments. So I want the user to be able to select the segment in an elegant way, if you like, so using the slicers. So this is why I want here to report back what the client has selected. And how do we allow the client to select a year, for instance? Let's start with the year. So we create a pivot table. The first thing that I want to do is I want to check how many dates, how many years there are here. So I'm just create a unique of all these, because you could have 3 or 4 years here. A unique of this. Okay, so here this is the year. So now I want to allow the user to choose a year. So in order to do this, I will create a pivot table. And I'll show you why a pivot table is preferable for this. So I'm just going to do an insert pivot table here, and I'm going to put that in a new worksheet that I will call pivot. I press on this and I select the year here, and it gives me the sum of year, which is not what I want. What I want is just the year here. So the advantage of a pivot table over a table is when you select something. Look, for instance, this value here, I'm just going to put is equal to A4. Okay, A4 is 2023. Now, if I select only 2024, A4 will be reported here because it moves to the cell A4, as opposed to a pivot table. As opposed to a normal table. What a normal table would do is a normal table will just hide that field here, and therefore the A4 would still be that field. So this is the advantage, and this is the reason why I'm using a pivot table under duress, really, because I have to. So this is for the first comparison, if you want, first comparison selection. Okay, so what do I do now? I need to create another pivot table, insert pivot table, and I will put it in existing worksheet here, and I will put it here. And then same thing here is going to take me the sum, which I don't want. So now we have 2 pivot tables, one for the first comparison and one for the second comparison. Selection, okay. So now once we have this, I'm going to show you that quickly so you know where I'm going, because you might be wondering where is he going with this. So insert slicer, I select the year, and this is what we will put in on our dashboard. So it can select one date from here and one date from there. So here I will put the first selection. I'm going back to the pivot and I put the first selection here. And here I'm going to the second one and I put the first one here actually. So now you can see we have 2023, 2023. But if I change here, actually, I can't remember, this one comes from here, I suppose. This A4 has become 2024. So therefore here, I have selected 2024. So if I do another slicer here, insert slicer, the year, I can do the same thing here. Let's not worry too much about formatting at this point in time. I will put this second comparison here. I will go to the pivot table and I will select the first one. So when they are both selected, which shouldn't happen because it's going to have to select something at some point in time, then that will change here and that will change there. Okay. So this is for the year. Now we have to do the same with the segment. We want the user to be able to select those segments here, one of those segments here. So as the two segments, are the same, what I can do is I can go back to my data here, or I could go here, select the segments that the user will be able to select. And I have put all segments at the top and I've put with an A because pivot table insists on sorting with something. It needs to sort with something. So I think at least this will be sorted by first all segments and after all the states. So here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to insert a pivot table in the existing worksheet, and I'm going to put it here. So the only point, once again, is to be able to provide the user with a fancy selection tool like this one. And here, if I insert a slicer, insert slicer, and I select all segments, then I have my second slicer. So this will be copied on the dashboard later on. Now, same thing, I'm just going to go back here and I'm just going to create another pivot table. Existing, put it where? Put it here, roughly. And I have another one. I'm going to select the segments and I'm going to insert a slicer here. So that's a lot of pivot, a lot of slicers, but that's a big advantage of pivot table. I know you can insert slicers on tables, but I really like the way the pivot table, you can select just one cell here, as I've just shown you. So we're making progress. So now we have the selection here. So the segment, I just need to do the same. And I go to pigment segment. I select this, still a bit early in the morning, but let's do it anyway. Pivot, and the first one here. So for instance, California here. Now, as soon as it starts to select something else, let's say Colorado in the first one and Kentucky in the second one, they should be here. So here, now that's it. So this is my starting point. Now I know what I need to do. I have my my selection here. So user has selected both of those. Now I just need to retrieve the appropriate row here. So in order to do this, I need to use a fancy formula. And I'm just going to dig it out for you. Now here's the formula for you. I didn't want you to see me type it, so I did it. So it's an XLOOKUP. So hopefully you have XLOOKUP in your version of Excel. What I'm doing here is I'm checking condition, two conditions actually, and if the condition is true, that's going to bring me back a 1. So therefore, if it's true, then I will be removing what's in the column E, which is the amount here. And what is the condition? The condition is that I'm looking for an element of that table where the segment here is Colorado. So I'm just looking in here, is it equal to Colorado? And at the same time, I want the year correct. So at the same time, I'm looking, is the year part of this? Okay. So the way we do AND is by having this multiply sign here. So if both are true, I will bring me back the 1, and then I can bring back this amount here. So let's do some basic verification. Colorado of 2024. Let's put 2023 instead. Mistake. I'm not supposed to type in here. So let's just leave 2024 Colorado. I'm just going to put something very different. 5,000 is good. 2024 Kentucky, put 6,000, brings it back. So now I'm going to slide it first with 1 and make sure that this is coming along. So you need to free up the last component to make sure that every time it brings you back the month. So you need to have you remove the dollar in front of the array here. Okay, so that's going to be good. So this way I can just drag it all along. So what have we done? So what we've done is we have actually retrieved what the user has selected. We have retrieved the data for it. Now what I can do is also, and did I do it here? Yes, I did it here. I need to make sure that I retrieve the current period, because the period could be week, could be day, could be starting in November, it could be anything. So I'm just going to retrieve this. I'm just going to put it here because this is a hidden tab, obviously, but I'm going to put it here so it's be easier to draw our charts. So do we have all our data here? Most of the data are here. I might need some totals. I could either retrieve them from before or just put them here. Put them here, this way it will be all the same. Okay, calculation, data. The pivots are ready. So here, if I change the second one to California, back here, California 2024, 2023. So it works. Okay, so we have all this ready now. So now we have it all ready, we can start building the charts already. Something that I need is also the comparison here. I wanted to compare the second with the first one, like for instance here. I'm just going to compare this, divide this amount by this one, so that will give me a percentage. So here we have 97% for instance of this. And I'm just going to remove one from it. That'll be useful for the chart. Now what I'll be doing for the chart, I will be just selecting all this and select a couple of charts. The first chart, I go into under Insert. And what do I want? Yes, I want a trend comparison. I just don't want to compare just the amounts. I want to compare the trend because some will be huge amounts, so it'll be very difficult to, some will be so low that they will go at the bottom here. So what I'm noticing here is there's one missing because it thought that was the the headings. So I'm just going to put a silly heading here because I think that this is what he wants, all segments here. So if I'm just going to take all this instead. Okay, so I go back here, change data source. Here, I'm going to select also the top one, which makes some sense. So now I have my all segments, and here probably do the same, change data source, and I'm going to insert this one. Okay, mystery solved. So here, if I take all segments, and here if I take Florida, for instance, and I go back here, so here, see that doesn't tell you much about the trend. So what I'm doing in this scenario here is I'm going to right click and I'm going to say change series chart type, and that gives me this screen here. And here I want to have the same type, but what I want is I want to put this one on the secondary axis. So this way that gives you an idea of the trends. Okay. So they give you an idea of the trend, and if I select, let's say another one, California here. Okay. So the numbers have nothing to do with each other, but that will show you the trend. If one goes up, the other one can go up as well, or vice versa, if the chart at the bottom influencing the one at the top. So this is one chart. I'm just going to put them all here, and then we can think about making them pretty and putting all that on the dashboard. Now what I want to do is I want to create another chart, but this time I want to talk about the amount, because here I will be hiding the amount. So it's just for the trend. I'm just going to insert, and to do that I want to have something more along those lines here. So this is already done. This is done. The only thing that I would do maybe is I want to reduce the gap. Reduce the gap. Not too much. We still want a little bit of a separation. And then when we put that a bit bigger, it would look nicer. And by the way, I'll change the colors later on, because the color I want to have is one of those blues here. I thought it looked pretty good with blue too. But I'll do that in the end because there's two blues, so it's a bit tricky to build it when the colors are that similar. Now the other thing I wanted to do is to create a pie chart. So if I just select those 2% here, and I do insert pie chart, a pie chart here and here. I don't even want to put the data labels. If you want to put the data labels, it's like this, but I don't want to do it. I just want to show the percentage on top. Okay, so we have our 3 charts. Let's create this dashboard. See, as you know now, we've done it more or less. We've done all the calculations, so it's just a matter of focusing on making all that nice. Now I want to put the 2, so it's time for me to go back here now. I want to put all those filters, I want to put them on the dashboard. So I press the Control key. I click on those dashboards. I copy them. And I do a nasty Control V, paste them here. So the first thing that I want is, I just need to make sure I keep them in the right order. So this is the one, I'm going to put this one on top actually. I want to do a few things on this. First of all, I want to hide the headers. So I'm go under the slicer tab, slicer settings. I don't want to display the header. And I don't want to show item that we have deleted. This doesn't apply to us, but that's always nice. So here there's only 2, so I'm just going to say under colon, and I put 2. I want to show them under 2 colons here. For this one, I want to put them under a lot of colons. Actually, I think we had 10 plus the total, so I'll just put 11. Now don't worry, we can spread this massively, and then we do under slicer setting, we just show, we remove the display header. So how does that look? This is taking shape. All right, so we have to do the same thing with this. Slicer settings, display header, don't show items that are not on the data source. Why would you do that? I'm not sure. And put this at the bottom here. Same here. Remove the header. Don't show history called data. And then put 11 here. Now, this is starting to take shape a little bit. So we're soon going to have to do the formatting of those. But for the moment, it works. Okay, do I put the charts now, or do we put some, let's put some text boxes here. I don't like to use text box, I'm using shape instead because I want to round corners. So I'm going to choose this one with the rounded corners. Just to give us an idea of where things will sit. Don't worry too much about, I just do a Control D about the color, just want to put something here, Control D again. Okay, and what I was maybe a bit ambitious, but I wanted to show the data. I know we can show it on the chart. You click on the chart, you go chart design, and you add chart element. And what is this? It's a data table. So if you put a data table, it shows you the table at the bottom here. That's something you might want to do if you want to take shortcuts, but I prefer to do it manually, so I have more control on the way it looks. Let's go back to the dashboard here. So this is a bit too close, so I will put the data here, just put that here. I think until I'm going to put the charts first because I want to do something with all this. So same thing, I just select it all, I just create a cut, and then I just do. So this will give me an idea where things sit. Okay, so let's just select one. I want this one to be here. I want this chart to be huge. Okay. So all segments here, let's start to change here. something like this. Okay, that's working. Okay, so what I want to do now is I do Control A, so I select absolutely every man and his dog. And somewhere, actually I think it's just by right-clicking it on it, size and properties. Well, I'm looking at properties here, and I would say don't move or size with cells. So this way, because I want to play around with here, I want to be able to put the whole 12 months here. I'm going to reproduce this table here. Do I want to put the year as well? No, I'm not going to put the year. I'm just going to put this. Okay, so here this is very easy. Then just do this, this, and then all this. And now, actually, if I move that here, it should show me this. And I'm going October, November, and December. So those numbers, I want to change them. I want to put only I want to remove the pheasants. As long as everybody is aware of it, I suppose. So in order to do this, I want to do something like this. So I put 3 hashes and this. And then that's more manageable as long as we put all pheasants. I need to put that somehow here. Okay. Now I want to to have everything fit onto this. So I'm just going to need to do a little bit of formatting, and I don't have to worry about the charts moving because I know the charts will stay where they are. So now I'll be just doing some formatting for those. Yeah. I'm going to put that here. Now to start with, I want to format those slicers here. So I just click on the slicer itself. Slicer, I modify this, the one that I'm currently on. I click modify. And I want the unselected items with data. I want to put a dark blue. And obviously you should have a white color here. And I think the selected one, I just want to keep it this way for the time being. So what else do I want to remove? I want to remove this grid here, this border. So modify and header format. I will be going under border and I will be clearing it. Actually, I'm just going to do it on the whole slicer as well. Border, I will be clearing it to be safe. Okay, so now I need to do exactly the same here. Actually, I could just apply it. If I apply the style, it's done. So now for this one, I'm going to go for this one maybe as a starting point, and I will be modifying it. Actually, why doesn't he want me to modify it? Maybe duplicate it first. Okay, so all slicer format, you know how it works. Border, clear the borders. Selected with data, I'm going to leave it this way. Unselected with data, we don't need to worry about with no data because in theory those are not included. So format, I want to give it, yes, I want to give it something like this, but remember will change because I didn't apply the theme. Okay, you have to remember to go back and apply the theme here. I'm not happy with this. I think it should be darker. So I'm just going to go back here. I'm just going to modify it. And I'm going to format the one unselected with data. And I'm going to put something stronger. Okay. And obviously, I'm going to put the white font. And selected with data, I'm going to put the white font which I forget. Let's be honest here, I forgot about it. And here this is, hopefully for this one, I can just apply that style and that's done. Okay, so that will be the top. Here, what I want, let's have a look at those charts first. So this chart, I want to make it clear that this is a trend comparison. A trend comparison. Comparison. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to keep the dollars here on the side, but if I keep Florida, for instance, I think this is an example I wanted to show is Florida is going up, but the rest is not going up that much at the same pace, so this one is on the right track. But if you look here, you realize that the amounts are not that big, so not sure if that would really impact the whole lot. Now, I spent a little of time working on this, so I can walk you through what I've done. The way I do this is I insert shapes and I click on the border and I refer to the calculation tab that I had here and I select the segment that has been selected. However, here what I'm doing is on the side is I've been doing some concatenation. So here I concatenate all segments and the date, so this way I can put both here. Now the challenge is every time you you change the cell reference, it just gives you a small number like this. So you have to do it all again. One way to doing it is just to click the one that is good and you apply it and then you go under here again. So this is it. So this is done. So I just apply some shade. I just put the chart on top of those shapes and then I go under shape format and I like to put the shadow, the third one here, because this way that separates well this big one here from the others. So I've done the same trick here. It's all an illusion. I suppose it's all, if I remove this, it's gone. So I just put that at the back. Make sure that you have your chart looking this way. So I've done a little bit. So here you click on the grid, you go under format, and you go the shape fill. You try with a very light gray first, and then you have to go under gradient, and here it lets you choose. So I like the, going from the light gray here to white on top. So you select it here, otherwise you will put it the other way around. But I think that's a nice way to present it. Okay, so that is done. So we've already done all this. Here the same thing. I just changed the title. And I'm putting the chart on top of the same shape. Here the same thing. So it's all pretty straightforward. I think we finished this a while back. Now what I wanted to show you is, obviously here you have two different colors. The blue is the first comparison and this brownish here is the second comparison. But when I went through the page layout, obviously you can choose which one you want, but I really like the blue too here. I really like the blue too. So this is the one I'll be selecting. So the title is really different, set comparison by segment. This I'm not sure about it anymore. Not sure. I just put that back like this. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. So that's all good. This in thousands. I think this is a theme that I will be selecting for this. So that's it. So I've given you everything, but the formatting, it's true that I've been going there a bit fast. There's a lot of trial and error, I believe, when you're not used to it, but in the end you'll get there. And then you have all your tabs here, and it's ready to go. Okay, so if you want the data, just let me know. I can just give you the data field.